is Monday, so that means everybody's back to work, back to school. I'm back to solving problems here on the Daily Dope, but I am on the air. Hello, gang. Yes, it is crazy here at the Duct Tape Studios. As I found, as I was getting set up to do the stream today, that for some reason the audio was way off, as in off, no audio whatsoever. And it was very odd because just yesterday I had been working on a few things, tweaking a few things, everything was working perfectly, and had absolutely no idea what was going on. I should mention real quickly, I have an assistant with me today. I have two, really. They're usually floating around. Pinky, who we will never ever see, is a little cat here at the house. And she is a scaredy cat. So if you look up scaredy cat in the dictionary, you will see a photo of Pinky. Then again, there's also Smokey. Hello, Smokey. Say hello to everybody. Look at that crazy look she's got. And she is actually currently laying on my lap. So hopefully she doesn't decide to get all excited and fly all over the place and knock cameras off their tripods and things like that. So anyway, so I find out that the issue was there had been a Windows update, and of course Microsoft isn't all that keen on telling you when there's a Windows update, and of course it was not a huge update, but it did actually completely mess up my sound settings. Isn't that sweet? So anyway, so once again, a little discombobulated, running around, trying to figure out what was going on. And of course now the show's about an hour late. So hopefully, well, I think most of the people are kind of catching this as a, a video, not a live stream. So they're catching it on YouTube, maybe Twitch a little bit. But of course, because I was so crazy running around, didn't get a chance to do the little donation thing down at the bottom. So of course that still doesn't work. It's not like I'm all that, thrilled. Oh, so long, Smokey. See you later. It's not as if I'm all that concerned anyway as far as donations and stuff. I'm just trying to make sure that I can put out as good a show on the shoestring budget that I've currently got. But anyway, as I try to collect myself here, Friday was a pretty interesting day after I finished recording the show or streaming the show. And I have to mention a few things. Number one, I've been emailing a little bit back and forth with the public relations person for Dynamite Entertainment. You may recall that I had the news piece about Reanimator, the board game, which is coming from them very shortly. Anyway, I just want to say, what a really nice person. I've been doing the gaminggang.com for 8 years, and I swear, one of the nicest, most complimentary people I have encountered in quite a while. I mean, there are people in the gaming industry that are always super cool to me in that, but I really just, started emailing a little bit with this person. So I have to say that the PR department is a real credit to Dynamite Entertainment. And amazingly enough, we are actually part of Dynamite's review team now. We're going to have copies, PDF copies of Dynamite Entertainment comics to review ahead of time. So that's very cool. So I'm looking forward to that, because they've got some pretty cool comics that I dig, like The Shadow, Red Sonja, and oh gosh, there's quite a few. They do a lot of Army of Darkness stuff, the Reanimator comic, of course. So anyway, so that was very nice. And then Friday, after I finished doing the stream, I got a box in the mail from Osprey Publishing, or I should probably be more specific, Osprey Games. And I crack it open, and it's just loaded with stuff. Osprey Games sent me all these goodies that we're going to be taking a look at. So we've got Ravens of the Sahashri. I'm sure I'll figure out how to pronounce that before we do an unboxing on it. But I have actually heard some pretty cool things about this game. So that is one we're going to take a peek at. Then we've got Shahrazad. So we've got that arrived. Looks like another card game. Very, very cool. And the Lost Expedition, which I have heard a lot of really good things about the Lost Expedition. I heard it's a little difficult. It's kind of tough to play. But I like games like that. I like challenging games. And I believe you can play solitaire up to 4 people as you're all trying to find the Lost City of Zed, Lost City of Z. There is also a new game coming out based on Judge Dredd, the Cursed Earth story arc from Osprey Games, and it's going to use this system, so that's pretty cool. That's actually one of my favorite story arcs in the history of Judge Dredd. Then we've got Samurai Gardener. Hey, I don't know. Hopefully, if you don't have a good garden, you do not have to commit seppuku. But this should be pretty cool. And then one that looks fun for the whole family, Zoo Ball, which almost looks as if this is a this is sort of a football game with animals. Very nice. I was very, very pleasantly surprised to open up this box and find all of these goodies sitting there waiting for me. So very, very cool. I think we'll start unboxing these this week. We'll start busting these out, because not only do I want to show them off, I also want to be able to get a chance to play them. So of course I do an unboxing before I get a chance to play the game and review it. So that was what was going on. I did want to reach into, I'm sorry, there's cat hair blowing around my nose right now from Smokey being on my lap. Anyway, I did want to mention that I wanted to dip in the mailbag and answer some quick questions before I get on to the news, which I thought was kind of funny. And first off, Carol had asked, why do I always wear a hat? And it's kind of funny. It's actually sort of become like an in-joke or running joke with me. Videos with convention coverage, all, you know, whenever I get in front of the camera, when I do reviews and things like that, 99% of the time, I'm wearing a hat. And to be very, very honest with you, I'm not going bald. I have a full head of hair. In fact, I'll prove it. Look at that. Look at all that. Look at that mane. Look at that. With that glorious backlighting hitting me. Ha ha. But, as you can tell, I'm in dire need of a haircut. And I am almost always in dire need of a haircut, because my hair grows like a weed. So I can go get my hair cut. And I don't like my hair really short. I have a face for radio in the first place, and really short hair, I just don't dig it too much. So when I go get a haircut, within about a week, it looks like I need another haircut. So there's the answer to that. Oh, man, I'm telling you. Smokey, come get your hair, for crying out loud. Also, Tracy, I'm not sure if it's a male or female, had asked, how come I'm doing the live stream in the afternoon? It's 2 p.m. Central, so that makes it 3 o'clock Eastern and 12 noon Pacific, as well as 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And the reason behind that is because I am, of course, the Duct Tape Studios is here in the basement of the house. And during the afternoon, it's going to be a lot quieter than it would be later on. I know I would get way more people who are going to watch live if I were doing this at, let's say, 7 or 8 Eastern. But the problem is, directly above me is a living room, and that television's going to be on. That TV is going to be very loud. I have some tricks in place right now with the audio in order to try to cut down on some of the background noise, but it's not going to knock out noise of that sort. So yes, it's not set in stone that I'm going to be doing this during the afternoons, but for right now, yes, I'm doing the afternoon show. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, you can always email me at mailbag@thegaminggang.com. And if you do, be sure to include your name and where you're from. That would be kind of cool. Kind of get an idea of where people are who are watching either the live stream or watching the archive of previous broadcasts. So that would be pretty neat. So anyway, let's move on to the news. And because I'm running late, I'm going to shave the news down a little bit because I do have the live unboxing of Doctor Who Time Clash. And I did take the plastic off to try to alleviate some of the glare that's popping up. But as far as the news, there are some very cool items, though, even though I did shave it down a little bit. And first off, Chaosium Publishing has a new supplement for Call of Cthulhu, and it is Peterson's Abominations. 5 epic tales of modern horror for the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. And as I mentioned, it is available now from Chaosium in PDF with a print edition to be arriving soon. I believe it's going to be, I think it's April, did I see? Trying to recall. Anyway, maybe it is April. Maybe it's earlier than that. Anyway, if you want it in PDF, you can get it now. And in case you live under a rock, you might already know that Sandy Peterson was the creator of Call of Cthulhu back in 1980. So, as far as what this is, let me get up here and here we go. Messing around with the old teleprompter again. Boy, I hate this thing. Anyway, okay, so let's get this set up. Boy, I'm gonna have to get a program because this thing just does not work very well. And I've tried a few. I'm using an online one, so it kind of stinks. So let's try to get this. Man, never fails. Now this thing is just crazy. It's just zooming past me. Let's try this again. See, this is the stuff that would have been ironed out earlier today if I didn't have that stupid Windows update. And of course, yeah. So, just enjoy yourself as you're... Okay, let's see if we got this. Do we have this finally? Okay, so included in Peterson's Abominations are 5 one-shot adventures, including Panacea. Zymed Biocorp is a pharmaceutical company. Now, see, this thing is still flying past. Unbelievable. Drive you nuts. All right. That's why I really hate having to do the teleprompter. I want to share the news with you guys, but these teleprompters are just totally lame. Anyway, folks at Chaosium are going to be like, We're gonna murder you, Jeff. We're gonna send Migo to take your brain, put it in a brain case. Anyway, a collection of 5 nightmarish modern-day scenarios for the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Gathered from across aeons, this anthology of horror brings together for the first time a series of scenarios from the mind of Sandy Peterson, creator of the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. You'll find inside Panacea. Zymed Biocorp is a pharmaceutical development company. The company is relatively new, having been incorporated just 3 years ago. See, God, I can't get this thing to work great. So hold on, let's go. There was one I was using the other day. See, this is almost like another test stream, folks. This is just... let's see what we got. Let's go back to the one that I used in the past. And see if I can get that one to work correctly. Geez, I should just try to set this up. I could share the screen with you. Okay. Alrighty, jumping in here. Wow, this is so exciting, isn't it, everybody? This is just so thrilling. I'm telling you, that update just completely threw me for a loop and screwed everything up today. Well, at least once I get past this teleprompter stuff. I was gonna say junk, but it's cool stuff in the news, so I don't want to play it off like, oh no, it's junk. It's actually cool. Okay, let's see what we got. Alrighty. As I try to settle on in. Alright, so let's go. Now, of course, I get it set up so it's like really, really slow. Oh yeah, this is just classic. Aren't you so glad you tuned in? Let's see if I can change this up a little bit. Yeah, boy, this is just, this is great. This is just great. Okay, let's see what we've got. No, that's the horrible one. I don't want to know. Alrighty. What a thrill this is, huh? Just amazingly exciting. Alright. this might work a little bit better. So we will find out in just a second. So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, that's right. I was talking about... Anyway, a collection of 5 nightmarish modern-day scenarios for the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game are included. Gathered from across the aeons, this anthology of horror brings together for the first time a series of scenarios from the mind of Sandy Peterson, who is the creator of the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Each one-shot scenario is designed for 1 or more sessions of play. Within, you'll find the following tales of mystery and horror. Panacea. It's about a pharmaceutical development company which is relatively new, having just incorporated 3 years ago. In the last 5 months, the company has begun drug trials on human subjects for a range of clinical issues. Currently, ZyMedBio is undertaking a Phase 2 study where human subjects are being given doses of new drug. Behind a miraculous cure for many ills hides a loathsome truth. Hotel Hell. In 1924, an obscure and ill-regarded painter from Europe named Johann Schiegel came to the Seven Stars Hotel in British Columbia. Seeking solitude far away from the hustle and bustle of the Roaring Twenties, Schiegel came to capture the remote and rugged wilderness of the Canadian landscape in his paintings. An inheritance in the remote wilderness of British Columbia conceals a hideous secret that may spell the end of the world. Mohole. A team of observers is called in to conduct an audit and report on an experimental and top-secret drilling project designed to penetrate the Earth's crust and release a previously untapped source of energy. Set on a repurposed North Sea oil platform, those involved discovered that there are some depths that should never be plumbed. An experimental drilling project delves too deep and brings the attention of an ancient, unspeakable horror. The Derelict. Within the icy waters of the North Atlantic, the discovery of a missing reefer ship, the Groenland Trappish, stranded on an iceberg, brings considerations of a substantial salvage reward, driving an attempt to rescue the ship. But in doing so, an ancient horror is stirred. A final journey brings a remarkable discovery and a hidden terror. Voice on the phone. As youngsters, Diego Lopez and his younger brother Juan were close. While Diego had the street smarts, Juan was more academically minded. His parents pushed him to make something of his life away from the streets and gangs of Dallas. Of course, Juan just wanted to be like his brother. Both boys seemed destined for a gang lifestyle. However, Juan's life was to take a different turn. A tale of two brothers set in the violent world of gang culture. Also included in the supplement is advice for getting the most out of the scenarios, as well as suggestions for expanding the scope of the adventures and increasing their length. Each scenario comes with a set of ready-to-play pre-generated investigators, allowing players to dive straight into the mysteries within. Produced in full color with cover art by Victor Leza, and sumptuous cartography by Andrew Law and Stephanie Macalea, which is stupid me. My last name's Macaleer. You'd think I'd get that right. I would think it's either going to be Macalea or Macalea. Alright, anyway, get ready to enter the mind of the creator of Call of Cthulhu and enjoy the nightmare. Of course, you have to have a copy of the Call of Cthulhu Keeper's Rulebook 7th edition to fully enjoy these scenarios. The 200-page full-color hardcover has an MSRP of $39.95. Now, as I mentioned, the PDF is currently available for $19.95 at DriveThruRPG. If you buy the PDF, you'll also receive a coupon for a $19.95 discount off the purchase price of the hardcover release directly through Chaosium in February. That's when it comes out, February, although the PDF is out now. Also, keep in mind, Chaosium is part of the Bits and Mortar program for brick and mortar stores. So if you purchase the physical hardcover when it comes out, you'll also receive the PDF for free. Now, I'd be remiss not to mention that the Gaming Gang is an affiliate of Drive-Thru RPG. So if you happen to be a fan of picking up gaming books in PDF, which I happen to be, please visit thegaminggang.com and click through one of our drive-thru links before you make a purchase, since we get a small portion of that sale. This helps us a lot, and it goes a long way toward providing more role-playing games for us to review. Plus, it also helps keep us around. You'd be amazed. I mean, I've had times where just our little affiliate helped provide enough money to pay for the hosting for our website each month. So, not too shabby. Also, in other news, Iello Games has a new family-friendly game that's coming out in the second quarter of 2018. And it looks kind of cool, but it has a title that's pretty long. The Legend of the Cherry Tree That Blossoms Every 10 Years. It does look mighty aesthetically pleasing, and it should be popular with those who enjoy a bit lighter gaming fare. Here's the dope from Iello. Do you know the legend of the cherry tree that blossoms every 10 years? The story goes that once every decade, the cherry tree would shroud itself in beautiful flowers during the first days of spring. Thousands of buds grew on its branches and stretched elegantly toward the sky before becoming magnificent flowers of inestimable quality. Oh, and hey, that was Pinky sneezing over there. Hi, Pinky. When the flowers on the cherry tree begin to fall softly to the ground, you rush to collect them before they wither. The one who can gather the most flowers will have their wish granted by the cherry tree. But if you're too greedy, the cherry tree will find you unworthy of its gift, and you will lose the chance to make your dream come true. So there. The flowers on the cherry tree have begun their delicate fall and are ready to be collected. Each turn, draw one or more flowers from the bag and try to gather as many as possible without being too greedy. At the end of your turn, put your flowers in front of your screen to gain victory points based on your sets of flowers, or behind your screen to gain victory points by having the largest groups of flowers. The player who has the most victory points at the end of the game is the winner. It is The Legend of the Cherry Tree That Blossoms Every 10 Years. Is for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, and it plays in about 20 minutes. It will be available in retail stores on April 5th, while online retailers will receive theirs on April 19th, and the game will carry an MSRP of $19.99. Looks kind of neat. I like Iello Games. For the most part, I haven't played tons of Iello Games. I always like chatting with the gang from Iello at the various conventions all the time. So this does look like a title that is going to appeal to lighter gamers, or even, you know, family gamers too, because the age requirement is pretty much simply 8 and up. So that's pretty nice. I also have a news piece from our friends over at Modiphius Entertainment. Yes, that's right. Modiphius Entertainment has the latest supplement available for the excellent Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of. Conan the Mercenary gives players more character options and provides details for game masters to create large-scale battles. Here's the dope from Modiphius. Welcome to the battlefield. I am a mercenary. I sell my sword to the highest bidder. I never planted wheat and never will, so long as there are other harvests to be reaped with the sword. The Hyborian Age is a time of incessant war. The armies of kings and queens cannot master the battlefield alone, and the task is left to those sellswords who trade blood for coin. And Conan the Mercenary, I always say Conan, I know other people say Conan. The battlefields are yours to kill for and to die on. Join legendary mercenary companies, support revolts, or fight for the throne. It matters not the motive for war, gold is the wage for your blade. The jeweled thrones of the earth tremble when mercenaries mass against them, and citizens pray to their gods when those self-same killers are out of work and turn to banditry. In this age, the records of war and battle are mankind's only testament, and names are written on the annals of history in blood. Join your dog brothers and sword sisters on the fields of battle, and take your pay in gold and glory. New archetypes, talents, and equipment allowing you to create your own mercenary characters and companies are all within the supplement, and as well as more skills needed to conquer your enemies. There's also a section covering locations in Conan's world where rulers attempt to take and maintain thrones, and mercenary armies are the forces that make the difference. Inside are detailed guides to Koth, Ophir, Shem, and Koraya. I know I'm getting all those wrong. I know I mispronounced all of them. Learn the ways of the mercenary, sieges, battles, victories, as well as defeats, and the time spent carousing between. Write-ups for Conan the Mercenary. Oh my gosh. Cephalofair, Pelias, Prince Almeric, Princess Yasmela, Thugra, Khotan, and monstrous foes such as the Nightmare Mount, Iron Statues, and Satha the Old One. Why do all these games always have to have these unpronounceable names thrown in them? It's an all-new system for mass battles. Command the very troops that live and die in the profession of arms. Stunning art and maps produced by world-renowned Conan artists, developed with leading Conan scholars. This is war as Howard depicted it. Savage, unforgiving, and heaped in both gore and glory. The all-new supplement clocks in at 120 pages. It can be had right now in PDF from DriveThruRPG for $14.99. We also have another quick Modiphius news item, and it's for something absolutely free. Yes, free. Right now you can download the first episode of an Achtung Cthulhu audio adventure series. Yep, you can snag the full 30-minute, full cast recording of A Rude Awakening from either the Modiphius website or DriveThruRPG, absolutely free of charge. And in my final news piece, there is a game that is now arriving in stores. I believe it came in not too long ago, that has had everybody pumped to get a hold of it, and it is Gloomhaven. And I know for a fact my friend Chris over at Fun Again Games had mentioned that everybody at the warehouse was working really hard to make sure that they got those copies out, because it is on tons and tons of people's Christmas lists. And I have to admit, it looks pretty cool. And if you're not familiar with Gloomhaven, it's from Cephalofair Games. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's really a company that I'm completely unfamiliar with. But this is a title that a ton of people have been waiting for, and it is now available. To my understanding, Gloomhaven's first print run essentially went out to Kickstarter backers, so it was really difficult to find in stores. So the secondary market ate that up. But now you can once again get your hands on the game for a much more reasonable price than through eBay or other secondary markets. Here's the dope from Cephalofair. Gloomhaven is a game of Euro-inspired tactical combat in a persistent world of shifting motives. Players will take on the role of a wandering adventurer with their own special set of skills and their own reasons for traveling to this dark corner of the world. Players must work together out of necessity to clear out menacing dungeons and forgotten ruins. In the process, they'll enhance their abilities with experience and loot, discover new locations to explore and plunder, and expand an ever-branching story fueled by the decisions they make. This is a game with a persistent and changing world that is ideally played over many game sessions. After a scenario, players will make decisions on what to do, which will determine how the story continues, kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure book. Playing through a scenario is a cooperative affair where players will fight against automated monsters using an innovative card system to determine the order of play and what a player does on their turn. Each turn, a player chooses 2 cards to play out of their hand. The number of the top card determines their initiative for the round. Each card also has a top and bottom power, and when it's a player's turn in the initiative order, they determine whether to use the top power of one of their cards or the bottom power of the other, or vice versa. Players must be careful though, because over time they will permanently lose cards from their hands. If they take too long to clear a dungeon, they may end up exhausted and be forced to retreat. Gloomhaven is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in between 30 minutes or 2 hours, so that's a pretty long stretch, and can be had for the retail price of $120, which, as I said, I have seen some people, I believe that with the Kickstarter, of course, there were extras, there were stretch goals and things like that, but I have seen Gloomhaven going for as much as $400 on eBay, sometimes a little bit more than that. So this is a good time for you to get the core game at a much friendlier price. I also want to mention the designer of the game, Isaac Childress, I believe is the pronunciation. Well, Childress, I assume that's correct. He's pretty interesting from what I've seen on the Cephalofair website. You should really check it out, because I want to say it's not all just about, oh, hey, buy my game, buy Gloomhaven, buy Forge World. You know, I believe there's 3 titles that are available from the company. Isaac writes a lot about just gaming in general, and it's pretty cool. The company seems very, very transparent as far as what they're doing, and giving more information about not only the game, but the sorts of backstory about design decisions and things like that. So most certainly go check out the Cephalofair, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, website. Anyway, that is it for the news for today. Man, just ridiculous. Anyway, so since you only wasted, what, 10 minutes for me to try to get an oddball teleprompter to work, boy, this Monday, this just stinks. Today's just terrible. Screwed around for an hour trying to get the sound to actually work. I'm hoping it's actually in sync. I have no clue. It looked like it was, but who knows? I don't know. I really don't. Anyway, but I do have a live unboxing. We're going to be taking a look at Doctor Who Time Clash from my good friends over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment. Now, this has been out for a while, and I do want to mention that, there we go, as we flip over here, and I'll kind of swing on over here so we can take a quick peek. So this has been out for a little bit, and I did want to take a peek at it. A lot of people love Doctor Who. I really enjoy Doctor Who. I liked Peter Capaldi as a doctor. I have absolutely no issue with them deciding to cast a woman as the new Doctor. Honestly, I think it's kind of cool. Whatever. I know some people are very upset about that. But there were some games that I had gotten over the last month or two that I was kind of holding on to because I knew I wanted to do a live show. I was kind of bouncing around. How was I going to pull this off? Things like that. So I wanted to make sure I had stuff to explore with the viewers. So anyway, so we've got Doctor Who Time Clash. It's designed by Jeff Tidball. This is the starter set. I do know that there are, I believe, 2 expansions to the game. You are my enemy, and I am yours. You are everything I despise. The worst thing in all creation. I have defeated you time and time again. I have sent you back into the void. I have saved the whole of reality from you. I am the Doctor, and you are the Daleks. From Victory of the Daleks. In Time Clash, I do believe, taking a quick peek here, I do believe that each of the players do get to play as the Doctor as well as companions, because it's for 2 to 4 players. I don't believe that anybody has to play like the Daleks, but we're gonna find out in just a second. So Time Clash is actually, when I say 2 to 4 players, it's 2, 3, or 4, because, you know, sometimes you'll run across a game that's going to tell you that it's for like 2 to 4, but you really want either 2 or 4. So let's take a look at the rules. The rules here are not all that long. Okay, so there's a repeat of the quote there. There's Davros. All right, let's try to see if we can avoid getting too much glare here. So we've got an overview. In Doctor Who Time Clash, the Doctor and the Daleks are locked in desperate struggle for the fate of the universe itself. You'll play cards representing plans, threats, tech, and quips. 2 stacks that represent the time of the struggle, the Doctor's companion, and the enemy's influence. The two sides also compete to control the Doctor's location, which activates or deactivates crucial powers. Well, it's 2 sides. Maybe it is 1 player or 2 players play as the Doctor and his companions, and the other player or players are the Daleks. During the game's build-up segment, each side tries to establish an advantage. When the balance tips and the end game comes, they press for victory. Either one of the Doctor's desperate gambits will succeed, or the Daleks' pressing threats will crush him. So there you go. So now we do know it is the Doctor versus the Daleks. Sorry, folks, somebody's going to have to play the bad guys here. It's like if you play a World War II game, somebody's going to have to play the Axis. So we've got the setup. Talking about what beginning of each game in a match. So I'm going to take a guess at more than 1 game. Determines basically probably along the lines that you got to play so many matches to have a winner. Okay, so we're showing on your turn, threat, drawing cards, playing numbered cards, special effects of numbered cards, okay, track values, discarding to move the Doctor, arc abilities, because there are a variety of pieces that'll actually fit together to create this circle that I've seen. Okay, how the Doctor's team triggers the endgame, balancing uneven arcs by changing the endgame target, winning. Neither side can win during the build-up nor on the turn when the game transitions from build-up to endgame. Once the endgame is underway, either team can win. Each team tries to win differently. So it looks like there's some math involved here. Victory for the Doctor's team. Cards that counter. Discards that can't be countered. 3-player games. Well, it says in a 3-player game, the teams are unbalanced. One team has 2 players. The other has only 1. No secret communications and order of discards. So all in all, it's 22 pages, but really, if we take a look here, there's not a ton of text on each of these pages. So we've got that. Hey, look, check out the other great Doctor Who games from Cubicle 7. And I have to say that Cubicle 7, I love the gang at Cubicle 7. Dominic and John and the rest of the guys and gals. Not leaving any women out. But they have done phenomenal work with The One Ring, as well as Adventures in Middle-earth for 5e. So if you're a Tolkien fan, you probably already have some of the books, but if not, and you want to get into Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit role-playing, definitely you gotta pick those up. As well as their Doctor Who role-playing game. The work that they put into each of the Doctor source books was just amazing. They were worthwhile just for Doctor Who fans to pick up who had no interest in role-playing games, because they would have, each episode had a synopsis, and then there were, you know, kind of ideas if you wanted to use an episode but kind of change it up a little bit, or kind of follow up on an episode in further adventures. Really, really nicely done. And it was also very cool because, of course, the first and second Doctors, a lot of the episodes, especially Patrick Troughton, a lot of the episodes no longer exist because the BBC wiped the tapes because they were too cheap. They wanted to reuse the tapes. So it was one of the ways for people to find out about some of these episodes that have been long lost to time. So anyway, very cool stuff. And then Dalek Dice is kind of a quick push your luck dice game. It was kind of fun. The kids liked it. All right, so let's see what we've got here. So it looks like we've got a few. We got 3 of these. Yep. So as we can see here, we've got these arcs. So we're showing time, London, companions, as well as the enemy. So, and then we've got a little, looks like, I guess this is a standee here for the Doctor. A build-up token there. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. So, okay, River Song. Enemy is the Supreme Dalek, and the time is on Gallifrey. And I'm guessing that all of these are pretty much interchangeable. You're not going to just use these 3 together. Well, looks like another little standee and a build up there. And then we've got this one, and it's got companion is Clara, time on Skaro, and the enemy is Davros. And then this standee is actually, taking a look at the standee, there is the TARDIS. So cool. And we got that. I guess maybe only the TARDIS is a standee, because there's only one little standee holder. Now we've got a die here, and it's showing plus 400, fail, plus 300. Looks like it goes from 200 to 600, and then one of the faces is fail. Right there, fail. Like the beginning of this show was today, an utter fail. So we've got that, and then we've got some cards here. Oh, look, it's got. Let's see if we can find where that starts. Well, thankfully, I brought along a handy-dandy hobby knife, which I use a lot of times to open up some of these packs of cards. Sometimes when I would do unboxing videos, it was pretty funny. I would, you know, have to pause the video because I couldn't get the silly plastic off of the cards. I'd have to mess around trying to get the plastic here off of the cards. So let's see, we've got green deck and a blue deck. So it looks like these are cards that you're going to utilize as far as trying to add or, I guess, subtract from the score in order to win. Quips. Look at the eyebrows. These are attack eyebrows. Okay. Notice the quips are not as valuable Then again, maybe we're just going through... I thought maybe... Yeah, we got a plan at 300. Plan at 100. Plan at 200. Another 200. I wonder if this has a little bit of asymmetrical play to it. As I'm looking at, everything seems to be focused on the Doctor. Refocus. As I use the word focus, as I'm glancing at a card that says refocus. Regroup. Okay, and then we've got tech up or down 100. That's what I'm going to take a guess at here. And as we can see, there's photography from various episodes of Peter Capaldi's time as the Doctor. So maybe these are cards that the players representing the Doctor and his companions are using. Looks like we've got a little baggie here too for the, I guess, pieces of the story arc, or game arc. Okay, so then here we've got Lure, destroy the TARDIS. This conversation is irrelevant. Negate, negate. Plan minus 300. Yep. So it looks like the enemies of the Doctor will be playing these cards in order to subtract from the total. I'm going to take a guess this is probably a fairly easy game to play. Rebut, tech minus 100, threat minus 400, maximum extermination. Very cool. Nice. Get a little closer look up there. Cool. Not a whole lot to the game. So we've got the 2 decks of cards. We've got the die. We've got the little standee holder. We've got these 3 counter boards to punch these out. So all in all, there are 9 pieces of story arcs in here. Got the little advertisement for Cubicle 7. And then we also have the 22-page rule book, which in reality, not a whole lot that it looks like you got to get through. I am going to get Doctor Who Time Clash to the table this coming weekend to play it, as I put my hand right on top of the box and cover it up. So my nephew Cameron, big fan of Doctor Who. I'm sure I can probably get either a couple of his friends to give it a try with us, or maybe I'll just take him on as the bad guys, let him play the Doctor. So look for a review of Doctor Who Time Clash in the very, very near future. And I am going to do an unboxing, I think, tomorrow. What do you say? Kind of up in the air, because Samurai Gardener's looking kind of cool to take a peek at. Maybe Samurai Gardener. I think I'm going to save the Lost Expedition and do the unboxing of this on Wednesday. What I'm sort of looking at as far as the format of the show, which I swear eventually it's going to, as I try to put these games down, eventually it's going to kind of be evened out. It's not going to be some issue to deal with every single day. I guess I'm going to have to go buy a teleprompter program. That looks like the only way around providing the news without it just being a complete disaster half the time. But anyway, what I'm thinking of, Mondays, kind of open for everything, kind of catching up on the weekend news. Monday is going to be a maybe a money-saving Monday. Hey, guess what? Money-saving Monday. That's a good idea. And I'll give you 2 places to go save some money right now. First off, Osprey Games is in the midst of a 30% off sale through December 15th. And I do know for a fact Zubal and Ravens of the completely unpronounceable excuse me, Ravens of the Sahashri. I don't know, but I heard this is a really good game. This is also 30% off. There are a few games that they've got 30% off through December 15th, and it's interesting because the sale runs through September 15th, because I believe Osprey Games is going to be able to make sure that you've got those purchases before Christmas. So that's cool. Hey, speaking of Christmas too, our friends over at Victory Point Games has their annual 12 Days of Christmas sale, which is currently on. I think that launched on Friday. And what they're going to be doing is every other day, if you go to Victory Point Games, you'll find that they have a game on sale. So by now they should have, this should be 2 games that they'll have on sale. And these games will remain on sale throughout the 12 days of Christmas. So really it's 24 days of Christmas that's going on. I do want to point out that I don't think they're guaranteeing shipping so that you receive it by Christmas. So there you go. Look at that. We did Money Saving Monday right there in front of you. Amazing. Tuesdays, I'm probably going to go a little heavier on comic book news. Not tons of comic book news. This is not going to become a comic book show, but this is going to be about things that appeal to the geek in all of us. So the focus is on gaming, tabletop gaming. But we're going to talk a little bit about movies and comics and stuff like that. So I think I'll include more news about comics on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, I was thinking War Game Wednesday. Once again, for those folks out there who do not like war games, or have no interest in war games, it's not going to be the complete focus of the episode. But I really want to do how to play on Twilight Struggle, which looks like a war game, really isn't a war game. And I think that would fit in very nicely. And I swear I can teach that game to somebody in about 15 minutes. It looks difficult. It's not. It's not easy to win. I didn't say I'm going to teach you how to win in 15 minutes, but I can teach people how to play in 15 minutes. Thursday, I'm looking at RPGs. Role-playing Thursdays. So I'll have, on this Thursday, I'm going to do a review of Starfinder from Paizo Publishing, and I should also be able to back that up with a review of Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which I believe is the #1 selling item in hobby shops or gaming stores, I guess I could say right now. And Friday, will just kind of be another grab bag, sort of like Mondays. Anyway, thank you so much for putting up with all the technical issues today. Just got started an hour late, more than an hour late. That was just great. So I am going to get to work on fixing some of the issues that we had earlier today so they don't pop up tomorrow. And until tomorrow, be sure to swing over to thegaminggang.com. I like to say get your geek on over at thegaminggang.com. Because about 90% of the stuff that we do with the Gaming Gang outside of videos is there. People who only watch the videos really miss out on a ton of stuff that we do over at the Gaming Gang. Anyway, once again, thank you for watching The Daily Dope. I'm Jeff McAleer, and I will be back tomorrow.